What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video party. I'm so excited to upload this one for you guys because for this video we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite comic book movies of all time that is hugely underrated by fans, but you know what? It gives us a breathtaking new look at the grandfather of all superheroes, Man of Steel. Okay, out of all the current DC movies that Warner Bros. Has put out, like Aquaman and Joker, Man of Steel is the one that sits on top. So Man of Steel was released in the summer of 2013 and was directed by Zack Snyder, who shot this movie as a Superman reboot. And I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't the biggest Superman fan before this movie. And what I mean by that is that I always saw Superman as Mr. Perfect, who had no flaws, no internal conflict, that kind of made me hard for me to relate to this character. And with the only Superman movies that I ever saw, which were Superman Returns and bits of Superman the movie, I always thought the action was kind of boring. However, when I saw the trailers for Man of Steel, I actually was very interested in seeing how they were going to handle the Superman reboot. And after watching The Dark Knight Rises, I was on board for the next DC movie, and holy crap, my mind was blown. One of the things that I really liked about this movie is how they treated this character, and oftentimes some people forget that Superman is an alien. I mean, while he may look normal to us, but in reality he's an alien from a planet millions of light years away. And I love how Zack Snyder treated this film as like a first contact film to see what would it be like if we came across Kryptonians for the first time in today's modern age. And this helps us relate to Clark as we see him grow up as an outsider to most people, and even watching him discover his powers at a young age, it's done in the most realistic sort of way. While we're used to seeing superheroes get very excited as they discover their powers when they climb on walls or fly in armored suits, we forget that sometimes it would scare us to death if we woke up one morning and had godlike powers. But thanks to his adopted parents, Clark is able to overcome such obstacles by showing great restraint. One scene that embodies this is when we see Clark get picked on by the bully, and while the bully wants him to fight back, Clark refuses to do so. And then we later see the camera pan down to where we see him clenching a metal bar and bending it with his bare hand. Honestly, if I was in the same situation, I'd be angry too, not because I'm being picked on by a bully, but because I really want to fight back. But if I do so, I'm going to end up hurting this person, which then leads us to what Clark's adopted father, Jonathan Kent, tells him. Whatever man you decide to be, good character or bad, he's going to change the world. And throughout the movie, we watch Clark Kent search for answers to his past, to where he then discovers his Kryptonian roots, where he was given the name Kal-El. Speaking of Krypton, one of the things that I really like about Man of Steel is that at the beginning of the movie, we learn that the Kryptonians have used up all their natural resources, which then leads to the destruction of their own planet. Fast forward later on in the movie, we see Clark reunite with a ghost of his father, Jor-El, to where he learns that Earth is on the same path to destroy Krypton, but Jor-El believes that his son can unite the people of Earth. And this leads us to a beautiful scene where we see Clark take on the Superman costume for the first time, and as he struggles to fly, you hear Jor-El in the background telling him, "You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will stumble, they will fall, but in time they will join the sun, Kal." And then you hear Hans Zimmer's legendary soundtrack just play in the background as he takes off in the sky and flies across the planet. Okay, I gotta tell you, Man of Steel has the best soundtrack ever. I love how Hans Zimmer gives this soundtrack a small, subtle tone to help us see the goodness that Superman embodies. And then he increases the beat and the rhythm that makes us want to rally behind Superman as he battles Zod and his Kryptonian soldiers. With that being said, let's talk about Zod, who is the definition of an underrated villain. At the beginning of the movie, during the final moments of Krypton, Zod and Jor-El, they're on the same page as they both want to save their home planet. But when it comes on how they do it, that's where they take two different paths. For Zod, he believes that sometimes the hardest choices need to be made by the people with the strongest will, and he wants to save Krypton, but by using military force. Ultimately, he fails in doing so and is then sent to the Phantom Zone along with several of his soldiers. But by doing that, it actually saves him to where he's set free and then is actually then forced to watch the destruction of his home world. When he finds out that Jor-El sent his son to Earth with the genetic codes to repopulate the Kryptonian race, Zod makes it his personal mission to hunt down Superman in order to rebuild Krypton. And what I love about this take on Zod is that at the core base of his motives, he believes that he's doing the right thing in order to save his dying race. When you look at all the loss and grief that he's went through, if there was ever a chance for him to bring back his people, he would absolutely take it. However, when it comes to handling this, that's where we see the darkness within him, as he's willing to do whatever it takes in order to do what needs to be done. And I love that later on in the film, he offers Clark a chance to join him, to where he basically says, hey, look, you're either with your people or you're against them, to where Clark learns that it was Zod that killed his father. And even Zod tells him he regrets killing his best friend, but if he had to do it again, he absolutely would. He has a duty to his people, and he's not willing to let anything to prevent him from carrying it out. With that being said, let's talk about the action in this film. Holy crap. The action in this film is godlike, as we see Clark, who's only been Superman for a day, go up against Zod and his Kryptonian soldiers. Before I saw this movie, I spent a lot of time playing Injustice Gods Among Us and playing a video game where you can have superheroes fight each other, to where you can have them go through buildings, trains, and even send them into outer space, before watching a Superman movie where we get to see Superman throw Kryptonian soldiers through buildings, ships, and even send them into outer space. was freaking epic. Later on in the film, we see that Zod is one step closer into achieving his mission, and when Superman comes to stop him, he actually begs Superman to stop, to where he tells him that if he destroys this ship, he destroys any chance Krypton has in repopulating its dying race. It's in this moment where we see Zod in a very vulnerable state for the first time in this movie, as he is helpless and hopes that Superman will do the right thing for his people, which then leads to Superman making the final choice on who he is and where he stands, where he tells Zod that Krypton had its chance just before he destroys any last sliver of hope that Zod had in bringing back the Kryptonian race. And this sets us up for a great monologue that Zod gives before the final battle of the film. Look at this. We could have built a new Krypton in this squalor, but you chose the humans over us. I exist only to protect my people. That is the sole purpose for which I was born. And every action I take, no matter how violent or how cruel, is for the greater good of my people. And now I have no people. My soul. That is what you have taken from me. I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted. I will take them all from you one by one. From this monologue, we can see that everything Zod did was for a great cause, but because of Superman's actions, he's going to single-handedly wipe out the human race just to make Superman suffer. And this leads to an epic clash of gods as we see Superman and Zod fight across all of Metropolis and hear this broken soldier declare his war on Superman and on humanity. There's only one way this ends, Cal. Either you die or I do. And then we hear Hans Zimmer's breathtaking music play in the background as we see Superman and Zod take their fight into the skies of Metropolis before going to space, and then having the fight finish in a train station, which almost kind of resembles to a Greek pantheon where we see gods battled out in mythology, which then sets us up for a scene that is often looked at with controversy, and it is where we see Zod threaten to kill a group of people in front of Superman's eyes and states that he will never stop his war against humanity. And it's at this point where Clark is put into an unsettling situation. In order to save the human race, he has to stop Zod, but with the Phantom Zone already sealed up, he's left with only one other option, to where he decides to snap Zod's neck. For me, watching this movie as a brand new Superman fan who never read any of the comics or saw any of the previous movies, watching Clark make this unsettling choice to where he had to take one life in order to save countless lives, it's a bold move. In most films, the hero's put in an impossible situation where they have to make a tough choice, and yet somehow they manage to solve multiple problems at once. What Man of Steel did is that by having Superman take Zod's life, you can see that when it came down to the wire of it, he cared more about the humans than someone of his own race. And I love that after he snaps Zod's neck, Superman reflects on this and soon realizes of what he's done and regrets doing so because now he's the last Kryptonian in the universe. Now I can see why some fans probably hate this because they grew up with Superman media most of their lives, but for me, someone who just got into Superman because of this movie, it actually fixed a lot of problems that I had with this character. Those problems being that he was too perfect and unrelatable. And after watching this movie and seeing the struggles he faced with himself and how others perceived him, it made me relate a lot more to this character to where I now have him as one of my top 3 favorite superheroes of all time. So overall, I really love Man of Steel. I mean, the action, the music, and the story, they're all so beautifully well done that it was the perfect way to reimagine this character in today's modern age and give us a new look at history's first superhero. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. That was my overall view for Man of Steel. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can get the latest updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.